Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Bytes. Today, we're diving deep into R.F. Kuang's The Poppy War.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fantasy novel that's captivated readers with its brutal depiction of war and its exploration of complex themes like power and identity, and also its unforgettable protagonist, Rin.
It's a book that really stays with you. The Poppy War isn't just a thrilling story. It's a deep exploration of the human cost of conflict and the allure and danger of power, and also the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable cruelty. Kuang weaves these themes together masterfully through Rin's journey, from a desperate orphan to a powerful shaman wielding the devastating force of the phoenix.
Right, the phoenix, that's such a powerful symbol throughout the book. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's set the stage for those who haven't read it. The Poppy War follows Rin, an orphan in a small village who faces a bleak future, a forced marriage, arranged by the cruel Fang family. Determined to escape this fate, she embarks on a grueling path to change her destiny.
And that path leads her to Sinigard, Nikan's most prestigious military academy. It's a fascinating setting, reflecting Nikan's complex history and the rigid social hierarchy that Rin must navigate. Her journey to Sinigard is marked by hardship, but it also reveals her cunning and resilience. Remember how she manipulates the opium trade to secure a tutor? And aces the notoriously difficult Kyuju exam.
That's one of the things that makes Rin such a compelling character.
Yeah.
She's brilliant and ambitious, but she's also ruthless and driven by a deep-seated need for survival. That ambition is clear from the start. Studying for the Kyuju, she pushes herself beyond her limits, memorizing texts while walking on walls, even chanting in her sleep. There's a passage where she describes waking up, reciting classical analects, and terrifying her roommate, who thought she was possessed. It shows her dedication, but it also hints at the almost obsessive drive that will define her later actions.
That's a great point. It foreshadows the lengths she's willing to go to achieve her goals, and the potential for her ambition to turn into something darker. And Sinigard becomes the crucible where that ambition is forged and tested. The academy itself is a microcosm of Nikanese society, with its rigid hierarchy, cutthroat competition, and undercurrents of prejudice.
It's a stark contrast to Rin's life in the village, and she faces constant challenges, from the grueling training regimen to the prejudice of her classmates, but it's also where she discovers her true potential, not just as a brilliant student, but as a powerful shaman.
That discovery is a turning point in the novel. Rin's initial experience with shamanism is almost accidental, a burst of power during a combat training exercise. But it sets her on a path that will forever change her destiny. And it brings her into the tutelage of the eccentric lore master Jiang, who recognizes her potential and guides her into the dangerous world of the Pantheon.
Jiang is such a fascinating character.
Yeah.
This seemingly disengaged, almost lazy teacher who turns out to possess this profound understanding of the universe. He introduces us to the concept of shamanism in the book's world, explaining how practitioners use psychoactive plants to access the Pantheon, a realm inhabited by powerful gods who can grant extraordinary abilities. And of course, it's through Jiang that Rin discovers her connection to the phoenix, the god of fire and vengeance.
That connection to the phoenix is central to the book's exploration of power and its corrupting influence. The phoenix represents both creation and destruction, a force that can be harnessed for good or unleashed with devastating consequences. It's interesting to consider how Rin's initial reluctance to embrace her shamanic abilities contrasts with her later, almost obsessive desire to control and wield the phoenix's power.
Absolutely. It's like she's drawn to it, even while she fears it. And Sinigard is also where we see the seeds of war being sown. Through the teachings of Master Yem, the history instructor, we get glimpses of Nika's troubled past, the rising tensions with the technologically advanced Federation, and the historical parallels to real-world conflicts.
Yim's lessons are crucial to understanding the complex geopolitical landscape of the book. He challenges the traditional narratives of Nikanese history, exposing the propaganda surrounding the annexation of Speer, a colony known for its powerful shamans. This foreshadows the conflict to come and highlights the role of historical revisionism and the exploitation of marginalized groups.
And there's a sense of inevitability, right? Like war is looming on the horizon. Even as Rin is focused on her training and navigating the complexities of life at Sinigard, there are hints of it everywhere, from Yim's lectures to the whispers of Mugen's growing power.
And then that tension just explodes when the Third Poppy War erupts, shattering that fragile peace and plunging Nikan into a brutal conflict with the Federation.
It's a turning point for Rin and for the entire novel. shifting from that contained world of Synagard to the chaotic and devastating reality of war.
It's a dramatic shift, and we see Rin thrust onto the front lines, sent to Kurtalin, the strategic port city. Under siege, she's assigned to the Psyche, Nakon's Special Forces unit, known for their unconventional tactics and reliance on shamanism.
Talk about a trial by fire.
It's interesting how this transition to war mirrors Rin's internal struggle at Synagard. She had the luxury of questioning her path, of resisting the darker aspects of shamanism. But the war forces her to make a choice. Embrace the full potential of her power, even if it means tapping into the destructive force of the Phoenix, or watch her country crumble.
And the Psyche embodies that brutality. They're a band of outcasts, each with their own trauma and motivations, bound together by their loyalty to Nikon and their willingness to do whatever it takes to win. Remember Baji, the shaman who channels the spirit of a boar?
Oh, yeah.
His enthusiasm for his gruesome firebombs, made with Kuang oil, salomoniac, scallion juice, and feces, is both darkly humorous and unsettling.
That scene perfectly captures the duality of the Psyche, their blend of dark humor and terrifying efficiency. They operate in the shadows, employing guerrilla tactics and shamanic powers that blur the lines between strategy and magic. And Rin, initially hesitant and fearful, finds herself drawn into their world, adapting to their brutal methods as the war intensifies.
And the war quickly escalates, doesn't it? The battle in the marsh is a turning point. We see Rin's power emerge as she unleashes the Phoenix's fire against the Federation troops. But we also witness the terrifying transformation of Altan, her commander and mentor. He's a force of nature, relentless and ruthless, reveling in the slaughter. He tells Rin, you have to enjoy it. You have to revel in the slaughter. It's a chilling line that foreshadows the path she's heading down.
That line is pivotal. It reveals Altan's embrace of the darkness that war breeds, and it challenges Rin to confront her own capacity for violence. It marks a shift in their relationship, too. Altan, once a figure of guidance and protection, becomes a symbol of the seductive allure of power, even as his methods grow increasingly questionable.
And that darkness truly explodes with the massacre at Gullen Nice. It's a gut-wrenching section of the book, a stark depiction of the horrors of war and the deaths of human cruelty. The Federation's systematic extermination of the civilian population is a brutal reminder of the dehumanizing nature of conflict. And it's made even more impactful by the survival of Kitai, Rin's friend and fellow student from Synagard, who bears witness to the atrocities and provides a chilling first-hand account of the Federation's barbarity.
Golaness is where Kuang forces us to confront the true cost of war, not just in terms of lives lost, but in the erosion of humanity itself. It's a turning point for Rin, too. It fuels her rage, her desire for vengeance against the Federation, pushing her further into the embrace of the Phoenix.
And that desire for vengeance becomes intertwined with her relationship with Altan, who reveals his plan to open the Chulu Korik, a mystical prison where powerful shamans from Nikon's past are entombed. He believes their power is the key to defeating the Federation, but his motives become increasingly suspect as his opium addiction spirals and his methods grow more ruthless.
Altan's descent is both tragic and unsettling. He represents the seductive allure of power, the belief that the ends justify the means. His plan to unleash the imprisoned shamans is a gamble that could save Nikon or lead to even greater destruction. And it forces Rin to confront the question, how far is she willing to go to achieve victory?
And the Chulu Korik itself is this ominous, almost Lovecraftian setting, filled with echoes of ancient power and the whispers of forgotten gods. It's like a journey into the heart of Nikon's darkest secrets, and it highlights the dangers of tampering with forces beyond human comprehension.
It's a fascinating contrast to Synagard, which represented structure and order, a controlled environment for honing power. The Chilukoric is the opposite, a chaotic and unpredictable realm, where the lines between the material and spiritual world blur. It's here that Rin confronts her former master Jiang, now imprisoned within the mountain.
That encounter's so powerful. Jiang, who once represented wisdom and restraint, warns Rin about the dangers of embracing the Phoenix, urging her to find another path, but his pleas fall on deaf ears. Rin, consumed by her thirst for vengeance and emboldened by her growing power, dismisses his warnings. It's a heartbreaking moment that underscores the tragic consequences of unchecked ambition.
It's a pivotal moment that reveals how far Rin has strayed from the path Jiang had envisioned for her. She's no longer the eager student seeking knowledge and control. She's a vessel for the Phoenix, a force of nature that threatens to consume her humanity.
And it all culminates in this explosive sequence, the escape from the Chulukorik, the confrontation with Shiro, the Mujini scientist obsessed with unlocking the secrets of shamanism, and then Alton's final desperate act of self-immolation, unleashing the full destructive power of the Phoenix to obliterate the Federation fleet.
That climax is the whirlwind of action, emotion, and moral ambiguity. We see the culmination of Alton's tragic arc, his descent into darkness, and his willingness to sacrifice everything, including himself, to achieve his goals. And we witness Rin's transformation into a weapon of unimaginable power, capable of shaping the fate of nations, but at a terrible cost.
It's a victory, but a bittersweet one. The Federation fleet is destroyed, but Altan is gone. Rin is left with the weight of his legacy, and the truth about the Empress's betrayal hangs over everything.
That betrayal adds another layer of complexity to the narrative. It reveals the corruption at the heart of the Nakara Empire and forces us to question the motivations of those in power. It also fuels Rin's rage, setting her on a collision course with the Empress and raising the stakes for the final confrontation.
The ending of the Poppy War is both satisfying and unsettling. It leaves us with this lingering sense of unease, knowing that Rin has survived. But at what cost? What becomes of a person who embraces the power of a god?
That's the question that resonates long after you finish the book. Rin's journey is a powerful exploration of the human capacity for both good and evil, the allure and danger of power, and the enduring scars of war.
It's a story that stays with you, forcing you to confront uncomfortable truths about humanity and the choices we make when faced with unimaginable violence and loss.
And that's where the Poppy War truly excels. It doesn't shy away from the complexities of war and its impact on individuals and societies. It leaves you pondering these profound questions about power, identity, and the cost of survival.
We're left with this image of Rin wandering through the ruins of Spear, searching for something, some sense of purpose or peace, in the aftermath of all the destruction. But the Phoenix is still with her, its presence both a comfort and a threat.
That's such a powerful image, reflecting Rin's own fractured state. She's lost everything she held dear. Her friends, her mentors, her sense of belonging. The only thing she has left is the Phoenix, this immense power that could either heal or destroy.
It's a constant reminder of the choices she's made, the line she's crossed. The woman in the Pantheon had warned her. That power can burn down the world. That power will destroy everything you've ever loved. Now that warning hangs over her future.
And it creates this incredible tension as we head into the next books in the trilogy. Will she succumb to the Phoenix's thirst for vengeance? Or will she find a way to control it, to use its power for something other than destruction?
And then there's the revelation about the Empress's betrayal. The fact that she was the one who leaked information to the Federation, leading them to the Chulu Korik, adds another layer of betrayal and complexity to the story.
That betrayal shatters the illusion of unity within the Nakara Empire. It exposes the rot at the heart of power, how even in the face of a common enemy, personal ambition and political maneuvering can lead to devastating consequences.
It makes you question everything, right? Who can Rin trust? What is she fighting for? Is there any hope for Nikken to rebuild after all this?
Those questions linger. As you reach the end of the Poppy War, we're left with a sense of both accomplishment and unease. The Federation has been repelled, but at a terrible cost. Nikken is fractured, both physically and emotionally, and Rin is left standing on the precipice, holding the fate of her nation in her hands.
It's a book that challenges our assumptions about heroism and the nature of war. It forces us to confront the darkness that exists within ourselves and the choices we make when faced with unimaginable circumstances.
And it leaves us with this burning desire to know what happens next. How will Rin navigate the treacherous political landscape of Nikken? Can she control the Phoenix's power? Or will it consume her?
Well, for those answers, we'll have to dive into the next books in the trilogy. But for now, we hope this deep dive into the Poppy War has given you a new appreciation for its intricate plot, its complex characters, and its powerful exploration of war, power, and the human spirit.
It's a book that stays with you long after you finish the last page, prompting reflection on the themes it explores and the questions it raises about the world we live in.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Books and Bytes. Until next time, happy reading.